What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You saw it. I'm finally doing a full review on Fragrance World's Vulcan Feu. Super hype beast. God of Fire clone. I have tried God of Fire. I got a decant around here somewhere that one of my decant swaps with my buddies we've done in the past. And fantastic fruit bomb tropical fragrance, don't be wrong. And all the clones I've tried get pretty close and they do a really good job, as does this. But end all be all, it's one of the latest. Is it the greatest? I don't know. Let's break it down. Stay tuned. Before we dive into today's video, I don't know if you've heard, but my newest fragrance with Zaharoff is now officially out for pre-sale. To recording this, Sun-Kissed Island. Greetings from Sun-Kissed Island. If you want to check out the full video down below, it is in the video description box, as well as a link to the Zaharoff site where you can grab my new fragrance, Justin's new fragrance, Seamless Soul, or the Nigerian giant Omos from WWE, better known in the fragrance world as the Giant Connoisseur, Ibere, his new release. A complete collection of incredible fragrances that everyone that gets them I know will be quite happy. Like I said, they're available pre-sale right now. Check them out if you're interested while supplies last. And let's get into this video. So real quick, we'll take a look around the bottle. It's very hefty, has a lot of weight to it, feels good in hand. That kind of stuff matters. Vulcan Feu has the snake going around. That's kind of a thing with these Middle Eastern bottles as of late. Thank the Ophidian line from Paris Corner. Also the teriyaki fragrances from Latafa. It's a thing with these golden snakes on here. I don't know what their deal is. But there's a nice little thick base on the bottom that adds some heft to it. The cap does hold very strongly into place. It's not a metal cap. It's a decent amount of plastic, but heard that click? That sucker holds really strong, and you get a really good atomizer. Smells good. Considering it's not pressurized, it puts out a really good mist, I have to say. So let's dive into this scent, shall we? So right off the get, it's a fruit bomb. A lot of mango. It's got like a mango, pineapple, apple fruit medley. I know that's not the exact notes, but you do have some ginger here that kind of stands out, that kind of warms it up, gives it a little bit of this kind of zesty, spicy edge to the fruitiness, a spiced fruit kind of smell. Not super spicy, but noticeable, right? And it's really good. Now, supposedly rhubarb in here. I don't distinctively detect that because it's drowned out by so much mango. But you do get a nice little pink peppery type of sweet spice to it to mix in as it starts to dry and settle into the heart of this fragrance. You get a little bit of woods. It does have a fresh juiciness to it that makes it kind of mouth-watering. Not quite, I wouldn't call it an aquatic. Dries into a nice woody, musk, ambery type of base. It's not reinventing the wheel on a tropical fruit bomb. It does smell very accurate to God of Fire. I wouldn't call it a one-to-one. It's definitely an almost God of Fire, which if you can get to the almost level with me, that means you're about as close as it's going to be. There's no real one-to-one clones. I don't care who wants to argue with me. It just can't be done. It's a piece of art that's formulated by a master perfumer and balanced a certain way. And you can reverse engineer it and have whoever you want do the formula. It's not going to be exact 100%. It might get to 98, 99, somewhere close, which I think is generous to say they can get that close. But, in the air, indiscernible from one to another for a lot of people. I get that. That's the point, right? I just want to spray it again. It smells good. I've been spending a lot of time with it over the last roughly week and a half, 2 weeks that I've had it. And I got to say, it smells fantastic. Is it any better than the other clones I have of it? Not really. Mango Bliss in the Ophidia line I mentioned before. Spectrum Malachite, Maison Alhambra. Love that one. Literally wore that one a couple of nights ago as well. Very similar profile, very similar quality. I don't think one smells like they're using higher quality oils, higher grade synthetics over the other. I just think it's a really good fragrance. My final verdict is, if you don't have a God of Fire clone, sure, get this one. The hype is justified. It's really good. It's really close. It smells fantastic. That's what matters to me. Does it smell good? Do I like wearing it? The answer, yes. Now on to performance. This one will give you a little bit of nose fatigue. At least for me it does. Everybody gets varying degrees of nose fatigue with every fragrance. There's certain notes that'll do it. Some people it's isoe super. Some people it's synthetic ambergris. Some people it's resins might do it to you. Lavenders. Ambroxan, notoriously, wears my nose out. This one, I clock every time anywhere from 6 to 8 hours in longevity. Right in that wheelhouse of the sweet spot for me. If I can get anywhere from 6 to 8 hours out of a fragrance, I put that in the win column every time. For those of you that feel like they have to be monstrous beast modes that last the longest, Where are you going that you need 16 to 24 hours of life out of your fragrance? I have to ask the question that I don't want an answer to. It's rhetorical, but I want you to ask yourselves that when you're like, I need the craziest, strongest beast from the East and just needs to last me 3 days. I want my hoodie to smell like it for 2 weeks. Okay. Why do you want your hoodie to smell like? You see what I'm saying? Again, I don't want an answer. It's rhetorical. I just want you to ask yourself, why do you need a fragrance to last 2 days? You don't. You're going nowhere. You're going to take a shower at some point if you're a normal human being that cares about personal hygiene, right? So, TLTG tip of the day is done. You don't need a fragrance that's beyond 12, 14 hours. You just don't. There's nothing you can convince me of the reasoning for it. So, with that said, 6 to 8 hours, probably longer if it wasn't for the nose fatigue. You know, some people probably get beastly type of stuff, which I would consider in that 10, 12-hour range, beastly longevity. But for me, considering the nose fatigue, because it kind of comes and goes, it'll be strong, it'll fade, it'll come back stronger, it'll fade. 6 to 8 hours. Projection, very heavy early. Moderate to heavy in that first hour. On into the second hour when my nose starts to kind of subside to it a little bit, sensitivity kind of changes, and it'll fade for a little bit. It'll fade for about an hour or so before my nose kind of comes back to life. The receptors kind of want to be more hip to the game to smelling this fragrance, and I'll get random moderate whiffs of this fragrance. I do get pretty moderate whiffs. And I would say until about the 5 to 6 hour range when it starts to become more moderate mild, where it's much fainter, it's starting to settle into more of a skin scent from my experience, hence that 6 to 8 hour range. It kind of just slowly gets weaker, but it stays pretty stout, pretty noticeable for many hours. And again, I think across the board, for all the subcategories of performance, I don't think I could have asked for more out of this one. I think if it was a monster, it'd be obnoxious. I think this is one of those profiles that if it's an absolute nuclear Godzilla-like monster performer, crazy, super heavy projection, fill ballrooms with 5 sprays kind of stuff, I think it'd just be the most obnoxious fragrance. I think this profile does really well at that very strong range, not quite a beast, which is where I would grade this. Across the board, very strong, both all 3 subcategories of longevity, projection, and sillage. So with that said, final thoughts on this one. Versatility, anytime you want to smell really good, fruity, and tropical. It doesn't have to be summertime. I mean, hell, it's been, yesterday I wore it, the highs were like 51 degrees. It was in the 30s earlier in the day and later in the evening. You wear whatever hell, whenever you want, right? Ideally, more of a summer fragrance, but anytime, if you just like tropical fruit fragrances, mango being my favorite fruity note and fragrances, wear it any time. All in all, with its cumulative score from my breakdown through my experience, in my opinion, this is an 8.5 out of 10 inspired Middle Eastern fragrance. Because I do break them down into different categories. You got your clone-inspired fragrances, you've got your designers, you've got your niche, and so which the indie falls into the niche category. So not every 8.5 overall grade is created equal. An 8.5 out of this versus an 8.5 Mind Games, I'm going to take the Mind Games fragrance. You see what I'm saying? I just want to make sure that's very clear, because some of you, I know it confuses you sometimes, where it's like, how's that an 8.5, but that he raved it, that's an 8.5 too, but that's just as, that $40 fragrance is just as good as that? No. No, in some cases maybe, but in this case, no. I just want to make sure that, there's 3 different categories for fragrance for me. We've got inspired, affordable, clone. A lot of the Middle Eastern stuff falls in that category, the affordable ones, not your Amouages and your Arabian Ouds, not those brands. That's the niche category. So just want to make sure everybody knows where my grading system goes. I kind of have built my own grading system over the years, and I stick to it firmly. My 8.5s are not all created equal, and they probably have no relation to anyone else's 8.5s. But for me, in its category, this is upper tier stuff, 8.5 out of 10. Well, I know that was a lot of information in a short amount of time. I tried to keep it snappy. It's a really good fragrance. I'm glad to have it. It was highly requested. Eventually, I ended up getting it. It is one of the better Middle Eastern fragrances released this year, I think. Affordable Middle Eastern. As far as clones, definitely up there. High level of accuracy. Definitely gets you close. You can't touch the quality of actual God of Fire, but the profile is pretty similar. I gotta say, not scary close. Nothing's really all that scary close, but some stuff. This one, really, really close. So thank you guys for checking out the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you leave. There's a link down below if you want to grab a bottle for yourself. We'll catch you on the next one.